You son of a bitch! This is the Lord in hell of fire, and I bring you
Lots of echo.
Yeah! Can you dig it?
We're back. Helltown, home of lateness. We're back.
I can dig it.
I can dig it.
When I don't have these motherfucking echoes on.
Everything sounds better with echo.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be the move from now on. I will always fuck with anybody in the house with my Alexa using your voice, and it's going to be amazing.
Oh, yes. Doing big things.
Yes. Getting all fancy. My house is all fancy now. I've waited all my life for this. Oh, for all of you guys listening, I just got all kinds of like smart devices for my house, so I can like say, Alexa, turn on the lights, and all the lights will go on, or Alexa, do this, and it'll do that for me. It's actually pretty goddamn fantastic. It kind of reminds me like of like, remember the clap on, clap off like lights back in the day? Like that was like the biggest
the
thing.
clapper.
Oh, dude, like I was so enamored with that thing when I first saw it because like I'm a techie person, so like for me being a little kid and seeing that, I thought it was like fucking magic. Like how does it even work? So yeah, I absolutely love Alexa now.
It's because you clap on and then clap off. That clapper.
It was fancy.
In my day, the clapper used to be something you caught from the unsavory.
I lived in the ghetto. We didn't have anything like that. So when I went to a friend's house and they would do that shit, I'd be like, what? You guys can afford that? Crazy.
Yeah, we didn't have the clapper. My parents would have been like, nah, no clappers for you.
Clap on, the clapper. Clap. That shit was awesome. You have to admit though, like I think about it like now as a grown ass adult, like when I was a little kid, there was no like cell phones or anything like. I mean, there was, but only the super rich had them, and they were like gigantic, like the size of their fucking head. Like, remember when CD players first came out? Like, and you could like buy them, and they were affordable. Like, crazy.
Yeah, I remember the first one I got. It was so long ago. My parents got me. I think it was the first Green Day record.
Oh wow, yeah. I think mine was like. I want to say it was In Utero. So.
In utero.
Yeah, In Utero. Yeah. Those were the days. Back in the days. Back in the day when I didn't have a cell phone, I had a fucking pager, and I would have to decode whatever somebody was sending me. Remember that? That was fun. Wearing a pager like I'm a doctor. I think I still have my pager. It's a blue Motorola, and I painted it with nail polish, like glitter nail polish. So it's blue and glittery.
Oh shit. Yeah, jungle paging. If you lived in Northern Virginia, that was the chain.
Yep, that's where I got mine.
All right. Chris should be here in a little bit, hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, I got one of them nitro coffees. It's about the nitro yeet all over my jam. Speaking of yeeting, I don't know if you aren't the connoisseur of newer modern popular hip hop. Like the stuff that like the youngsters are listening to and going gaga over, a la Drake and the Young Money.
I'll listen to it all. Like I listen to it, but I won't know. Like I have no frame of reference. Like I listen to Snoop Dogg, NWA, like shit like that. I know that. Like
all right, so you know how back in the day they used to have beefs that ended in people getting shot, right?
Oh yeah.
So we had our beefs, and there hasn't been another one like that. There's been a lot of people talking shit to each other, but not really like they'd be like throwing shade at each other, not really like going like. Because I remember, do you remember when Tupac and Biggie got into it
Yeah.
Do you remember how his song started?
Yeah.
All right.
So we're gonna do some we're sampling some stuff.
So you're gonna hear how Tupac started this beef real quick.
Not that way.
Not that one. He started this way.
That's why I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker. West side.
And rarely has
Yeah.
hip hop had a beef where they just went at it from the get go. And I haven't been paying too much attention to the Kendrick Lamar versus Drake beef until the other day, because we've gotten to the point where it's back to where beef should be, where they're saying some shit that might get you fucked up in public. They used to just be like, I don't like your raps, your girlfriend's pussy stinks. Now they're saying shit like, you a pedophile. Oh, I never thought in my million years that I hear another rapper call another one a pedophile and then say like A minor.
Yeah, that shit was like, that was fire. When I heard that, oh my god, I was like, what?
So
yes, he did it.
So
He said what everybody was wanting to say.
A minor. I don't even like the song that much. I'll be honest. There's a lot of times in the rap where he's not rapping on beat, and I'm a stickler for that. If you don't rhyme on the beat, it bothers me. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's like when a guitar solo isn't the on rhythm. Same thing.
He does have some good
but-
songs, though. There are a few.
He at the end he's like, freaky ass nigga, 69 God. Like I have so many questions because I'm not like I'm old, so I don't know all, like that. That to me, just from context, sounds like he's saying Drake dirty and he's 69s with dudes. Like that's what I took away from. Like I don't
I
know.
don't know how you would get that. Like, my immediate thought is like, oh, 69.
Because he talked about him going to Atlanta. Atlanta is known as
okay.
like
Okay, I got you,
like Young Thug. And in fact, on a long time ago, I'm pretty sure it was on Dirtbag. There was this thing because one of the guys that he referenced in that song, Young Thug, they showed him in the studio and they panned across the studio and all the TVs had gay porn on them. Like, yeah, and people were like, what the fuck? He's in a recording studio. There's no way that's an accident. Like, you aren't just accidentally putting on gay porn while you're doing.
It's background stuff.
Yeah, I just wanted to see dicks on.
I
these
mean,
streets.
like it wouldn't even matter what kind of porn it is. Like,
yeah,
honestly, like, not to say that there's anything wrong with gay porn, but I think any porn playing in the background while you're trying to like record a song.
Yeah,
Seems a little fucking weird.
It just seemed extra strange because it's like I think the dichotomy with a lot of rappers that talk about being thugs and like all this stuff, and then there's a lot of rumors about a lot of people in Atlanta being like like closeted gay men, and there's like a large contingent of black gay people in Atlanta, to where other people talk about like, yo, don't go to Atlanta, don't get too drunk in Atlanta. So it's. I don't know. I've never been to Atlanta, so other than like just like passing through. So I don't know if it's just like if it's known or if it's just like that's where Puffy goes on the weekends.
I mean, I've been there. It's not like everywhere.
Well, it's not like you know how when you think about San Francisco, you don't think about just like white gay people. You just think about it. It's an area with a larger gay population.
Yeah.
But Atlanta is like specifically black closeted gay dudes. I don't know why that it has that.
I don't know. I wouldn't know if they're closeted. Like,
Well, it's like
I prefer my gay people flamboyant and out there.
Well, no, I think it's more that like how do I put this? In the black community, it is less acceptable in terms of being macho and being gay at the same time. Is I think harder to pull off than any other group. So I mean that's why, and there is the history of the church a lot more where it's like, and I think there is some other cultural history that people don't talk about with primarily black people and having problem with homosexuality, because there was a thing they used to do called buck breaking, where they would bring in people like if you had a strong like person that was rebellious, you would have them raped in front of everybody else. And it was called buck break.
Wow, that's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, dude, it's slavery. It's like there's gonna be like people that are like letting the people live in the house, and then there's gonna be people that look at people like animals and whatever they can do to demoralize them, they'll do. Yeah. So
this is why we need why hasn't the meteor happened yet? Like, I was so pissed off when COVID
Well, I
happened. I
mean-
was like, this is the worst apocalypse ever.
nobody died.
I mean,
Only old people.
like a lot of fucking people.
Only
died,
old
but-
fats.
Only-
The old fats died.
Oh Jesus!
Oh, dude. So they had a roast of Tom Brady this week, and they shouldn't have had that shit live. A couple of cool things happened. Tony Hinchcliffe is the new roast master. He came out and said various things to everybody on stage. That was my favorite. Nikki Glazer was also amazing. And Robert Kraft. I don't know if you don't watch sports. Like I don't watch him that much.
I don't watch
The only
sports
reason
at
I
all.
know this dude's name, he's the owner of the Patriots. The only reason I know his name is because he went to Russia probably like 5 or 10 years ago and showed Vladimir Putin his ring. I think it was the first one that they ever won as a team, right? Shows Vladimir Putin that shit, takes it off his finger, and Vladimir Putin stole that motherfucker's ring. He stole his Super Bowl ring. He just like has it, and then he like sort of turns, and then the Russian Secret Service people get in between him, and he doesn't get his ring back.
What?
He's straight.
That is such a pussy move. Like to get your lackeys to like be like, come
Nah.
get this guy. So
And
he
imagine
I'm
being
gonna
like,
steal this guy's shit.
imagine being a legitimate billionaire. You just won this Super Bowl. This is like the
Yeah.
pinnacle of your life, and the leader of another
It's so
country
that-
steals your ring. And
What,
it's
what do you say to that too? Like
Well-
it's like I could have a cool story, or
This dude is in his 80s. He's old as shit to where, like where like when you start talking too long, you might shake, that type of old.
yeah,
Well,
like
they had him
when you're
talk a little
talking.
bit, right? And he said a bunch of shit. And at the very end, he's all like, one more thing. Vladimir Putin, give me my fucking ring back.
yeah, like that's I gotta imagine like that's
He's
kind of
been
like a
pissed for
legacy,
ye-
dude.
he
Like
has
you want to
been-
give that to your family.
He's
like,
been
pass it down.
pissed for years.
I would be too. I would be too, because it's like, what do you do? Like these fucking guys.
He's
like, come up-
Putin too. It's not like it's like if Obama stole your ring, there's recourse. You can like file charges. You can like it's on camera. Give me my ring back. Putin, it's like I don't kill you.
Jesus.
Like, yeah.
Pickpocket motherfucker. Guess it never leaves you, huh?
That motherfucker is straight up like, oh, he's like, oh, have you ever seen?
He's like a bully. Like,
Oh yeah. I mean, he started off like, wasn't he in there? I don't know what they're like. I don't know too much about communism. Stopped when we were like 9.
yeah.
So like, but they had all these different things. I've watched a couple of like documentaries about like primarily about the 80s and the fall of the Berlin Wall, but the stuff that like happened before that. So like, I didn't know that the Berlin Wall was like kind of small at first, and then motherfuckers just started dipping, so they just kept making like more shit, like they're at a moat. So it's like,
Make it taller.
yeah, like so it used to just be like apparently one point it was just like barbed wire rolls,
Yeah.
and they had problems with even their own soldiers would be like, "Fuck this."
You're like, I'm out of here.
Well,
Place
apparently,
sucks.
apparently back in the day, like I mean, I don't know anybody that's like lived in Berlin, but it used to be like during the day you could go back and forth, and then one day it just hit some point, and they were like, no travel.
Yeah, I think like my mom was like, we all lived in Germany at some point, but we were on a military base. But we visited my grandparents, which lived in Hamburg.
Hamburg,
Hamburg.
isn't that where the Beatles were?
I don't know.
Well, I know that like they got big like in Germany, like they practiced like a bunch.
It might have been there. Like, I don't know. We were around there, Frankfurt, like Frankfurt, Germany.
Was there a lot of hot
that
dogs there?
sort of like area? I don't know. I was a little kid.
Ah.
I think the last time I was there, I was like 9 years old, and I'm 44 now. So
So
that's just but a bitter.
the only thing that you remember is
faded
spaghetti
memory.
ice cream.
Yeah, that's the only fucking thing I remember. Actually, I do remember like the butcher shops and stuff. Oh God, I have this like crazy story, and it's like one of those like warnings to people who have children and also have a farm, like a working farm. Don't let your kids like make friends with your goats that you intend on slaughtering, because it might like traumatize them for life, like it did me. I had this like little goat that I befriended, and I thought they got it as a pet for me, my grandparents. And I loved this goat. Like I loved him. I named him Churchy.
Churchy?
Yeah.
What the fuck kind of name is that?
I don't know. I was like 4.
Yo, it's Churchy.
I loved this.
He liked the
goat.
church.
I loved him so much. He was so cute. Like he would follow me, and like he would love his like pets. He would literally lick my cheek. I loved that goat. And then one day, like we went to my grandparents' house. It was Easter, and the basement was open. They had like the old cellar like doors or whatever, like that come out of the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like they had it open, and I walked down there, and lo and behold, there was a strange man there that I had never seen before. And there was a metal table, and there was Churchy on the table being cut in pieces. I fucking had nightmares for like ever. I was so distraught. Like so sad.
You know,
And they didn't even tell me that I was eating it. Like later on that night, I remember us eating, but they didn't say it was like, oh yeah, guess what? Because my parents aren't assholes. But I realize now that that's what we were doing. We were eating Churchy, guys.
I had a far different experience first time I slaughtered animals, and I took care of petted them, gave them food. They were like, guess what we're doing today? And I was like, what? They're like, slaughtering the pigs. And I was like, what does that mean? And they're like, well, we're going to kill them and then skin them, and then we're going to make them into sausage you're going to eat. And I was like, can I play Sega? Yeah, you can play Sega. So I was like, I heard the motherfuckers getting shot, and I walked down to look, and this is going to sound fucked up. If you haven't been involved in farm work, it's like after the first one where they shot it, it was like, that's odd. And then I think we did 8 pigs the first time, and the thing that I noticed is that they die quite differently based on like if they had a thicker skull, they get shot in the head, they'll go right down. Like, or a thinner skull, they'll fall over and just like die. And some of them will be like like scream. You gotta shoot them multiple times. So that's just like
traumatizing.
Oh, dude, that's nothing. My dad told me some wild shit, and this is like old school. Like we were, my dad was a slave for fucking black people. Apparently, this pig wouldn't die, so my grandfather shot it in the head like 3 times, and it still didn't die. And he fucking just like got pissed and just cut its throat, like because it was like, God damn it, this motherfucker! And just because they scream. I don't know if you've ever seen pigs slaughter.
Like
the way they scream is much different than any other animal. It's like it has this quality that is not. I don't want to say like human, but it almost sounds like a baby at certain points. I don't know what it is.
Jarring.
But they do this noise where all of a sudden you're like, like there's something inside of me that's saying I shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, see, I'm telling you, that's our third eye. That's our subconscious saying.
But
we shouldn't be doing this.
I don't think it's that. I think it's that we as a species do not enjoy what we're doing. So the trade-off needs to be, to me, if you are gonna kill an animal, to eat it. Probably should never abuse it. You should treat it very, very good while it's living, for 2 reasons. There is a selfish reason that typically if you treat anything better, whether it's like a plant talking nice versus being mean to it, it's better. Yeah. It's like its life is better, its quality, and if you're looking at it as livestock, the quality of that meat's probably going to be better.
Yeah, because it's not gonna like just sit there in a depressive slump, not eating, being all sick and shit.
I think that's the big reason why factory farming versus small family farms are much different. A lot of that I think has to do with the fact that animals are treated and have a better life. So if you have an animal that is depressed, I know like myself when I'm depressed, how I feel versus when I'm not. So it's a marked distinct difference. So I don't get it. I think a lot of the reasons that those weird mistreating animals and like not respecting whether we're gonna eat them or not, respecting their life and not abusing them, is lost because they have those ad gag laws where you can't. You can't just go into a meat processing plant and start filming with the fucked up shit they do. There's like laws against it, which I don't understand.
Well, I mean, I think it's because there was all those those videos.
Well, there shouldn't be laws against it if it's like if they're doing fucked up shit. Like when they were showing
yeah, you want to know.
There's that brand of milk, Fairlife, right? And they went to one of the farms that they sourced milk, and it was fucking. They were treating those animals like shit.
Yeah.
So I stopped buying that milk. Because it used to be a cheaper milk. It had less sugar and a bunch of other stuff in it. Turns out they beat the shit out the animals, so you can't support that.
Yeah.
I don't understand because of the waste that we have. Like if you've ever worked at a supermarket or any place that sells food, the amazing amount of food that is wasted in the name of making higher profits for other products doesn't make any sense to me. They would rather something doesn't sell and they almost throw it away sometimes, it seems like, than to just like help people, like by making the prices more affordable.
Yeah, it is strange, but there is a thing out there where people actually go into these dumpsters and get like food that have
Freegans?
Yeah, like
yeah, man.
It's a little iffy for me.
Oh yeah. I'm all right. So this is the rule, and I think this should be a general. Anything that you could jump in the dumpster to buy, or to not buy, but to eat out of the dumpster. Now, I'm not saying that like you're not going to be able to strive on that food because most of that food that you're going to be able to continuously eat that's going to be in a dumpster that wouldn't spoil is not stuff that's like really good for you. It's going to be a lot of like powdered and like stuff that doesn't spoil.
You'd be surprised though. Like there's a lot of like produce is one of the biggest things that gets wasted and thrown out. Like they'll put it on sale or put it on clearance, but if it doesn't sell,
but produce rots. So like I understand like why some of that stuff like Americans aren't going to buy like something that's got like a spot on it. They're like they'll take it for free. But they're not gonna buy it.
But I mean, you gotta think in terms like if somebody's like picking like vegetables and fruits, and there's like a few bad spots, they can cut it out and then can it.
Yeah.
So
we don't live in that. Like people don't can stuff anymore. Like
I do.
You do, but like you're fucking rare. Like most like fucking kids are like, can I DoorDash? Can I DoorDash and eat? Can I?
No,
can I eat?
I'm definitely the mom who's like, we got McDonald's at home. Like we are not going to eat out. We're going to eat at home, and it's always
McDonald's at home is the laziest shit ever. Like it's not because there isn't like whenever parents say there's McDonald's at home, they just mean there's hamburgers and fries at home. You know how many of those little McDonald's hamburgers you can make out of the same hamburger that your mama would make you? Because every mom don't make the smash burger. She doesn't like make the burger small like McDonald's. It's always just fucking damn near like this half smashed fucking like meatball, and mom's like, what the fuck? Like I've done it before because I was like, yeah, we could probably make this at home and just smash it down, and it's like, oh, these are very small burgers. Yeah, it tastes more like McDonald's. I disgruntled. Disgruntled. Like
the only thing that I would be missing is the onions, the little diced up little
Fuck them onions.
I love onions.
Fuck them onions.
So good.
Onions can go to hell.
Delicious.
You know where those onions come from?
Where?
Underneath Satan's fucking foreskin. That's where he keeps them. He
Okay.
shreds them up.
That's why they're spicy.
Fucking, they savory.
Exactly.
He be savoring these nuts. Ah, fuck, man. I feel like I should yell, but I don't want to upset my.
Or the dog, or the fucking dog. It's like, yo.
Fuck that nigga. Oh man. So coming up soon. What are you doing this next weekend? Is coming
Ooh,
up?
yes, it's the Wine and Craft Festival. I will have a table there. It's supposed to rain, so like they're saying like 40%, but I'm like going to like bring in all my good juju. I'm gonna be praying to the gods, and it's gonna be a beautiful day, and I'm gonna just sit there. So come see me at my booth. Can't miss it. It's a black booth with the silly little snail. Well, that is odd, and I will have all kinds of stuff. So I had this idea. I was making little snail like figurines last night, and I started like rolling up these little balls with the clay. And I'm like, oh, I'll make little eyeballs. Like that'll be fun. And I thought, you know what if I put eyeballs in my like animal skull? So I did it, and it was like the funniest goddamn thing. I literally laughed, like cracked up over it for like a good half hour to an hour. So I decided at that point I was gonna make 50 of these little like round eyeball things. So I have 50 little balls that I have to paint tomorrow for eyeballs for various like skulls that I have. Yes. Yes, so it will be fun. It'll be cute. Little blue eyes, little brown eyes, little twinkle in the eye, pensive eyes, scared eyes, happy eyes, you know. Eyeballs and scully things. That's the way it's supposed to be. It makes it funnier. It makes death funny. I don't know. It makes it also look like a little jarring because they're looking at you.
Looking at me.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm looking at you. Oh, fuck. So you said earlier that they haven't done the map yet for the festival.
No, they haven't like sent. They were supposed to send out an email update. You'll have to excuse me. I got allergies, guys, and I sound like this right now. So they haven't like sent out the map. I'm gonna probably message them on Monday. So I don't know where my table is gonna be because I had a few people ask. I don't know yet. They haven't like sent out that information. So hopefully I'll know by Monday.
Yay!
Yay!
Fuck. I was hoping Chris's black ass would be here by now. God damn it!
Right?
Fucking. All right. So you were talking about weather this week.
Dude. So I don't know. Like I get like lost in the sauce when it comes to like crazy ass fucking weather. But all the tornadoes that are happening right now, bro. There's a tornado in Michigan, like all the way up Michigan.
I mean, like, have they said why this is happening? I know they're.
No, I mean, it's weather patterns change all the time.
Yeah.
Like, so we've had a pretty like mild winter in comparison of like what we usually get, but it's been really really rainy and really warm. So that's just gonna happen, you know. Like I think like maybe next year we're gonna have tons of snow. It's ever changing.
Tons of snow.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
I'm not a fan of snow either, but tornadoes, dude. Like there's one where I guess a dash cam actually watched it tear apart everything right in front of this car. Like cars were like flying into this funnel. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's all a bunch of stuff from Brazil.
Yeah, that shit's crazy too. The floods that are happening right now. I think 220 people so far.
That's it. I'd expect there'd be more.
Yeah, I mean that was as of like a few days ago. I'm not sure. I haven't like I've been so enamored with the tornadoes that have been going. I'm like, oh my god, there's so much weather going on right now, guys. But I like following that kind of stuff. The tornadoes though. I used to live in Kentucky, and we used to have drills in school. Like each school has like different drills. Some, you know, gun drills, unfortunately, but ours was like we would have to like go into the hallway, tuck our head between our legs.
Oh, kiss your ass goodbye.
Basically, and just like hold. And that was our drill for tornadoes, because I guess where I was living on, that's kind of like the runway, the valley where the tornadoes would hit. But I haven't seen one since I was really
Tornado
looking.
Alley.
And I didn't technically see it. I just saw the aftermath, and it wasn't that bad. Like, I don't think, at least my part of Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, didn't have a lot of destruction at the time in the early 90s.
You know what happened, right?
What?
I happen. Hello, this is God.
Look, let's be honest. Michigan's a shithole. I just took my finger and I spun it around. Brazil, same thing. I was having an off day. I'll be honest with you.
Jesus wouldn't shut up. Mary was hanging out. I got a little mad. I got into a little bit of the wine. Next thing you know, I was angry. Fuck Michigan!
Nah, like I've often thought about that. How do these things just randomly happen? Because we have really, really, really good like Doppler stuff now. So two things are happening. Either there's a lot of erratic weather, or these meteorologists are some conspiracy ass liars. They just making this shit up. They just sitting around every morning before we wake up. They get up at 2:30. They're like, all right, this is what the weather gonna be, young. It's Bob Ryan and his cronies just sitting around being like, yo, I put out this almanac. You better say it's going to rain on 32nd, yo. I'm trying to sell more copies.
Yeah. I think they're getting a little bit like, what's going to happen? Because, like, we were supposed to get severe thunderstorms here, and I don't think we got anything. Like, I got sprinkles all day long. Thought it was going to be a really bad day, but it was pretty good.
I am sprinkles.
Sprinkles, and it was like, kind of like foggy, so it looked like Silent Hill where I was living. It was kind of cool.
It always looks like Silent Hill
Yeah,
in the upper regions of fucking Front Royal.
Yeah, this is true. I live in a cloud.
Like it is cool to live in Front Royal and be in like whether you're on Blue Mountain or Apple Mountain or any of the other the higher elevations out here, until you go to leave at night and you're maybe you got like, I don't know about anybody else, but I wear contacts and I have like halos, and that motherfucker sucks. When you leave it and you're like,
yeah.
is that a corner? Ah!
Yep. I think the last time, 2 times that I went home from here after the show, like it usually takes me about 10 to 15 minutes to get up to the top of the mountain from the opening of my neighborhood, but definitely takes me about 25 to 30 minutes because I'm driving every bit of like 10 miles an hour, and it is almost 4 miles up. So, yeah.
I'll be speeding.
You're like,
I'll be
throwing
drift.
caution to the wind. You're like,
No,
fuck
no,
it.
no.
If I drive off
it's
the
not-
mountain, who cares?
Not caution to totally to the wind, but I say I harness myself. You know, sometimes you got to put on certain music before you go, and you know you could put on something, especially when it's snowy up there, like some Bing Crosby, "The weather outside is," all that shit, right? Or you could put on something that maybe will help you a little bit.
Oh, what would that be? Is it like, what's the genre?
Fun.
Ooh, I like fun. It's like boppy, kind of dancey fun,
It
or
could-
is it like smash things?
I mean,
kinda
there could
fun?
be some smashing.
Oh, I
But
like
I mean,
that.
but I'm not saying you put on some Sepultura and start hitting like Jersey walls or anything like that.
Oh, there's definitely no Jersey walls going up the mountain here. There's like
You put on this
the
joint.
embankment, or like the ravine.
You don't need a ravine when you got. You know, I've only seen one Fast and Furious, right? I saw the first one in the movie theaters back when everybody used to just see movies on Friday nights, right? That was what like everybody did, and of course everybody was racing because we were poor and everybody had Civics.
Yeah.
You were racing them in asses. But I've never seen Tokyo Drift, but I've heard this song like 8
Yeah.
times. It's like
That song immediately I think of it. Is that car movie song?
yeah.
Like,
You know, I think maybe the various way to say this. If you're wondering when the next Tokyo or Fast and the Furious movie comes out, you're probably not smart, and you probably drink a lot of Monster and punch a lot of walls. But I think Vin Diesel and them should be commended, because if you've made a movie about just like, hey, we running from people in cars, like, and you've made 9 of them, like that. Horror movies hit like 8, and when you start making fun of them, like, where are they at now? Like Jason in space. Like, I'm pretty sure they went to space in Fast and Furious, and not one person in that fan base was like, "This is far fetched. Cars in space."
the only one out of all those franchises that never like seemed like hokey or anything Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
Nah,
is
the newer
still,
ones fucking suck. But
Yeah,
it's
but,
but
like,
they're not. There's
the
a reason.
The Hulu one definitely was not that
So
great.
you know what the problem is with those? All right. So and this all ties into something we're gonna readdress. Actually, we addressed it last week. Harvey Weinstein. What he did with those movies, I'm pretty sure the Weinstein Company owned the rights to Hellraiser. So to keep the rights, you have to put out movies, and then you can like continuously use that license, from what I understand. So they took scripts from other movies and just put. That's why in a couple of them you just see Pinhead in the background, and he's there for like 2 or 3 seconds, and it goes back to the story. The stories were written as a plot for a different movie, and they just threw Hellraiser into it. That's why they're fucking weird, and they don't make any sense.
Yeah.
Because you don't see like Pinhead or any of the Cenobites
No.
until the end of the movie, where it's like it's almost just thrown in there because they
Yeah.
are. And apparently, a lot of movies are like that. Like, especially in the when we were younger, a lot of like, for instance, I think there was one. It's the same dude that did a lot of the movies that you would see on Channel 5 back in the day, like Canon and like TriStar and all those. I think it was the Akkad brothers. There's a Superman movie that is horrible compared to the other ones. Not to say the Superman movies were some like fucking glorious.
Hey, you know what? Superman was my favorite. Superman and Batman, my favorite.
Can't get into them. Batman a little bit, but Superman is like. So I'm already get annoyed with like Captain America because it's like, yeah, good guy. He's just a cop, and like sometimes Superman is just like ultimate cop. He's never like a dickhead to anybody. He never just like child molester, punch him in the head, like punch his hand right through their head. And then like the only time he's ever killed anybody is like somebody like the Joker killed Lois Lane, and he comes back and just like punches him in the chest, and it causes a bunch of like problems. But that's the only time he ever did anything. It's like maybe he just gets a little bit pissed off that the fucking dude at the fucking the valet won't bring his car far enough, and just kicks that motherfucker in the leg until it falls off. If he was really trying to be human, he would get pissed off every now and again, like the Walmart. Like, why is this taking so long? And then fucking heat vision somebody's leg clean off. Like, even Batman. Batman's fucks up and every now and again just drops somebody. Like, even in the first Batman movie, he drops that motherfucker all the way until his ankles break. He's like, ha, nigga. Like, that's what you need. That's why I respect a little bit of Batman. Batman at least got a dark edge. He's an alien. You mean he ain't even gonna be a little bit pissed off? He came from a planet that got blown up and he ain't even got emotional issues. I call bullshit. he should be like, I don't know who I am.
Maybe he's just really good at masking.
Nah, he don't even wear a mask. He don't even wear a mask.
You know,
he take off his glasses.
I'm gonna tell you, my favorite Superman movie isn't even a Superman movie. You know what I'm talking about. The horror movie that came out that was that shit was.
You know what they should have done? You know that movie should have been 10 seconds long. As soon as that motherfucker's eyes started glowing, they should have been like,
I don't even. What was
I ain't
it?
gonna have no laser eye, baby. And he kills his mama.
Like that was the most.
Spoiler alert!
Yeah.
Don't let your superpower baby get all pissed off at you. Motherfucker starts getting pissed off at the Xbox and fucking cut your house in half.
I gotta look.
That shit would be fucking terrible. Like, I mean, he was like Superman, but what if your kid popped out and was like Wolverine and just started like fucking chopping up everything in the house?
Brightburn.
Oh yeah, I remember that movie.
I actually thought about that, and I was like, for some reason, I thought it was.
How does he kill his mama? Does he just blow her up or rip her in half? What does he do?
I think he rips her in half or something like
What
that.
a dickhead! Was that his real mama, or was he? Was he an
No,
alien?
it was like he. It's just like the Superman origin story. It's like he comes from like his little spaceship kind of meteor, like plummets onto their farm, and they discover him in the barn.
This is a lesson.
Like, oh,
it's a lesson.
It's a baby. We couldn't have babies. Let's raise this baby as our own.
You know, typically I don't do this, but this scene, you know the two things that happened in that story, Superman and the Brightburn, a white mama. Cause you know what would have happened if that kid was like Puerto Rican? They'd have been like, "Get away from it."
That's not a baby.
that Nah, no me gusta.
No.
They get that motherfucker the fuck out of here. Like, if it was the hood, no.
That is the devil.
Oh yeah, dude. Is there anybody that says he's the devil in that movie, or they just like sneak him in there? Like, this is my baby, I'll sneak pregnant.
I don't know. Like, I just know that he just gets like it's that testosterone.
He got that Roni wrong.
He starts coming of age, and that means he's gonna be a homicidal maniac. So yeah.
What is he like? Is he coming of age? Is like she catch him?
I don't know. Like,
Did she
it's been
catch
so
him?
long. I literally went to the movie theater to see this because I said, I fucking love Superman. I don't care what anybody says. Christopher Reeves, hands down, the best.
He ain't even swole. Henry
It
Cavill.
doesn't matter. There's
Dude, all I know
something
is-
so attractive about that nerd. Like, and you know what? I laugh at it because like I watch it now as an adult, and I'm like, these dumb bitches like didn't know that was Superman.
I've always
like,
thought that was stupid.
like it's just glasses.
Yo, in Brightburn, was he was coming to age? Was he like his mom comes in the room and he's like,
No.
"Get away from me!" and then shoots his laser vision across her chest. Don't come in here without knocking.
No, it's more of coming to the fact that you like to kill things, kill
Ew.
people. So yeah, it's a
Not
great movie.
once.
I loved it. I thought it was an interesting take on Superman. Because I love my scary
Superman.
movies. So if you make anything scary, I'm fucking down. Let's watch it. I want to see like when like I, as a child, I read a lot of Grimm stories.
Uh-huh.
The stories are so much different in the book than they are like as Disney.
What are they
You know.
like? Like Hansel and Gretel was in the woods, and guess what happened?
Yeah, there's
Gargamel was there, and he had drugs.
There's a lot of the stories don't have happy endings at all. So that's how I want to see them. Like that Hansel and Gretel movie that we watched. What's it? I think it's called Hansel and Gretel.
Which one?
Or
Hansel and
no,
Gretel?
it was called Gretel. We went to the theater for.
Oh yeah.
That was actually a really, really well done movie. It's beautiful, and I can't think of the actress name, but the witch in the movie, she played in Sleepwalkers, Stephen King's Sleepwalkers. So I always thought
That
she was
movie's
gorgeous, but
creepy.
she made a fantastic older witch.
Even when I was little, Sleepwalker was creepy. I was like, yo, that dude and his mom was weird.
Yeah, a little Freudian shit.
Yeah,
going on there.
they incest, yo. Like, don't Freudians being nice. We ain't nice to incest.
Yeah, they were definitely getting it all.
Remember when we were little? Like, that was one of those words. Like, there were certain words that you didn't know fully what they meant, but you know if you broke that bitch out, somebody'd be like, "No, I'm not." Like, if you call somebody incest, yo, he incest, yo. No.
I'm gonna be totally honest with you. So I think I was like 8 or 9. I always thought, because I've heard heard that word when I was a little kid. I thought they meant like the incense, like lighting. And whenever I heard it, like incestual, like I'm like, as a child, like my child brain was like, do they mean that they smell really like patchouli? Like do they smell like herbs?
No. Well, they could. Fucking, but they're
Definitely
they
not.
smell like
incense.
gross, yucky.
Yeah, I didn't know what incest was until like someone actually said no. That's
Apparently,
not.
everybody that's like fucking younger than us knows what that is, man. If you fucking like go on any porn and you type click like most popular porn, it's all like stepbrother, stepmom. There's like nobody's just like, hey, woman with big titties catches it in the rump. Like
Right.
this, like it's all
Like weird stuff. But you have to think, like, I think, especially now, like generations that are much younger that know these things, it's accessibility. You know, they could, like, back in the day when we were younger, we didn't have like the internet at our fingertips.
Oh yeah, them
We had
motherfuckers
like
are terrible.
maybe our dad had a couple of dusty like VHS like hidden in the back of their like movie
I
collection.
guess boys work differently. All right, so like, and I don't know, like, this is just because dudes would go out in the woods all the time and just like build stuff and like ride bikes and stuff. And so like boys, I think at least in our generation, were a lot more prevalent to hang out in groups in the woods, right?
Right.
And I'm not saying dudes were like fapping together or anything like that, but randomly, and you can ask multiple dudes, you ever found porn in the woods? Fuck yeah, I found a whole bag of them. Like, it's weird as
so
shit.
weird.
I don't know why it happened. Maybe it's because back in the day, if you got caught with porn, like it was mags, it was a physical thing that you get
So
caught
they
with.
all hid in the woods.
Yeah, so I've multiple occasions I have found just regular Playboy or like Hustler or even like Adam and Eve catalogs. So I was like, yo, somebody's just like you find a bag of porn in the woods. It's like nature's gift. It's like to like dudes that are like hitting puberty and you're like, oh.
It's like the Sword of the Stone.
Yeah, dude. And then
Porn
especially if
magazine.
you find like a Hustler for like Generation X dudes, because of shit that they had extra in there. It wasn't just that Hustler had titties and graphic sex. Like it was like, you know, it's not like Playboy. You're seeing like girls are getting plowed and like Hustler and Penthouse and stuff like that.
The girls also look different.
Girls look different, and then on top of that, you're getting like jizz shots. But they had in Hustler, they also had like comics, sort of like The Far Side, and it was like they were dirty jokes.
Oh,
so
yeah.
if you're like a kid and you see them, you're like, ha ha.
I love. It's still to this day. Like every now and then, I'll Google like Hustler cartoons because I remember them. Like my dad, he's definitely a Hustler guy. He got Hustler all the time, and I would go and find them, and ladies were what they were, but I got it for the comics always.
So
they were funny. They
the
were hilarious.
first pornos that I really saw were like, you know, like you'd see like Playboy, but then it was like one of my dad's brothers, and it was like black porn. So like the first porn I saw was like Afro chick. like and it was
sideburns.
Yeah. Yeah, like no, it would be like lots of like fucking thick ass black
Yeah.
chicks. Like so I think it's I don't know what those magazines were called. If you were to ask me like what like a black fucking porn was called, like you know Hustler, you know Penthouse, you know Playboy. Like I don't know the names of these porno mags, but I wish I did. I almost want to call my uncle and be like, "Yo, what pornos did you used to get back in the day? What mags? Where did you buy those?"
Ed Boner.
Dude, I'm so old. I remember porn on Betamax.
Yeah, I don't
One of those VHSs that like, or one of those
They're like
tape.
the big cassettes, right?
No, the smaller ones. The bigger ones were VHS.
Okay.
But Betamax technically had better, like I guess.
Why didn't that
image.
take off?
I think it's because much like you know how like Blu-ray was a thing and had better image quality, but they were more expensive. I think that was the same thing that fucked over that Laserdisc. The same thing. That's how I knew my white side of my family was more affluent than my black side because they had shit like Laserdisc players, and I was like, we don't have this. We go to grandma's house, we got Play Outside. Like this is what we got. We got Play Outside and bologna sandwiches and shit.
I mean, I got that anyway. I think that was just our generation.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Go outside and play generation.
Go outside and play and get your ass whipped. That's the one
Yeah.
thing that's
Like for me, it was like I didn't get ass whoopings. We were more like, you know, my parents were like hold books in front of you for like hours on end, like that kind of punishment.
I know full and well there's two things that ended up in me getting
I'd
my
rather get
ass
an ass
whipped
whoop.
a lot more. Two things. My dad came from like they just whipped ass on that side of the whole family. Like ass whippings came freely and fragrantly. I remember my grandfather had a ruler and he had whipped so much ass with this ruler that it didn't have any numbers on it. That's how I knew not to fuck with him. I was like, yo, if he grabs that ruler,
With the one spot.
he's got technique to it. If he's worn there's no more numbers on there. Ain't 1 through 12 are gone.
I imagine that stings worse too.
Ooh, I only caught it like once or
it's like
twice,
a
but
switch
yeah,
only.
and
You know,
well, that and you can't get away from it. Like that's like, at least a belt is there's a little bit of give to it. It'll you do a little rapping,
yeah,
but not
it dissipates.
not dude. I remember one time, we were there was goddamn it makes me feel old. When you're so old that like babysitters were given permission to whip your ass if you acted super out of line, and I acted super out of line quite frequently. I was babysat by these people. It was now it's like somewhere off of like Route 7. It's like some like research center, but it used to be a farm. The farmer's wife babysat. It was on the way to where my parents worked, so we went there every morning. They were nice people, but they were farmers, right? And this chicken coop that they didn't use. And they also had motorcycles and stuff. So there was this motorcycle helmet sitting there. So I I don't know what I did, but I broke a piece of the glass that was in the thing. And then I figured out if I put on the fucking motorcycle helmet and I ran my head into the glass, it would break. So I probably broke like fucking like 10 or 15 of these little like panels of glass.
Oh
and this farmer came out and he was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, hitting this with this. Like, cause I had no concept that it was wrong. And he was all like, he got fucking pissed. And like he had a son that was probably like 5 years older than me. That was kind of cool. That, you know, like that, like, and he was like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
like,
you fuck, bro." Like, and then he came back in and he was all like, "You better go get a switch." And I didn't know what that meant. And he was like, the other kid explained to me, "Well, he's gonna have you pick out the switch and he's gonna whip your ass with it." And I was like,
what?
So I'm like freaking out because I never got hit with a switch. I got hit with like a belt, like hand and stuff like that. I went and found the smallest switch because I was,
Ooh, that's worse.
my lawyer like should have kicked in
That
way
shit would,
early.
like,
So,
That would cut.
oh no! But it was like tiny. It was probably that long. So like, I got the smallest one I could find. I was like,
Here.
he just looked at it and he was like, he's like, "Can he whip your ass with this thing?" Like, I don't know why I didn't get my ass whipped. I don't know if he calmed down by then or if he just looked at me like, "This fucking idiot."
Like, maybe he really is that dumb.
And he was just headbutting something with fucking helmet
Like,
on.
what are you doing?
Yeah, so don't let a 4-year-old me near anything that can be broken. Like, I think he figured that out real quick. All right, don't let the dum-dum walk around here
Yeah.
with impunity on a farm.
Like,
Let's see what
with
this
a fucking helmet on.
like, I wouldn't know if I'd have saw a kid put on a motorcycle helmet and just walk towards the barn. I'd have been like, yo,
what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm about to headbutt some shit. Oh, I probably almost died on that farm like 5 or 6 times. One time they let me drive the fucking tractor and I ran through a ditch. Like, the dude had to run up and grab me and be like, "What are you doing?" "You told me I could drive." Yeah, dude. 80s, totally different.
Yeah.
But yeah, farms are fun. Don't let your kids get near machinery. Like, looking back on it, even today, if my daughter was like, "Can I go drive the tractor?" If I had one, I'd be like, "Oh, fuck no. I know what you're going to do. It's going to be you're going to end up in the road."
Yep.
Oh, fuck,
And
man.
there's chunks of the earth like ripped out of the ground.
Oh, fuck, dude. Fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad I grew up like before fucking everything was filmed. I'd have been in so much trouble between just going to like neighborhoods that they were building and just taking stuff to build ramps or fucking like knocking over porta shitters.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that became a game. When they started rebuilding like Haymarket and making all those newer neighborhoods that are on Bull Run Mountain and stuff, there were no police out there. We used to fucking drive around and hit them with our car. I would fucking, like, I remember one time we knocked a porta shitter all the way down into a ravine. Looking at that now, I've been on enough construction sites to know somebody had to put a rope around that bitch and drag it all the way back up. Yeah, dude. Like, kids now, I think they get in trouble, but they get in trouble with a lot of more serious shit because people don't, there's no lead up to it. They just do some wild shit on like a Tuesday night that can get you in real trouble. We had like stages that it's like, now kids will do snatch and grabs. Like 20 of them will go into a store and steal a bunch of shit. We were like stealing gum.
I think there is a lead up. We are not aware of it.
I figure we'd be
I think
more.
like I can tell you right now, like me as a parent, I get busy with a lot of stuff, like especially dealing with my toddler. So my teenagers, like, not that they get away with everything and they're just like running the streets wild because they're pretty good kids, but I'm sure they do a lot of stuff that they don't mention to me that like could possibly lead up to something. But I think we have a stable enough like life where they're like, you know what, I'm not gonna push that boundary out. Like, I'll just get a little bit in trouble, not all the way in trouble.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, I push boundaries. I remember there were so many times, like, I don't know, like, I don't think this is a common thing, but I've definitely gotten punched in the face by my dad before, just from, like, being like, let's see if I can test this. Like, there was one time, I think him and my mom were getting into it, and I had the bright idea to be like, oh, I'm going to punch him in the side of the face. let me tell you, as a youngster, don't ever, like, if you're like 16 or 17 and you were mad at your dad, I don't care how mad you are, unless he's like doing something where you need to jump in. Like, everybody's got, like, every father's different. There's probably some parent that's probably beating on another one. Yeah, if you got to jump in to save your mom, go for it. But if you're just like, I got hubris and you just want to punch a grown man as a child, there's something, and I think there's something psychological. Like, if your father's hitting you, it's like, oh shit, like, he's whipped my ass before, he could do it again. But a man versus even like a 20-year-old, there's a level of ass whipping that, as a kid, that you're usually not keen to tap into to fuck somebody up. But as a dad and as a grown man, you're like, oh, I know exactly how I can fuck you up real quick. I'm going to punch you right in the fucking nose. And there's less remorse because you know what's going to happen. So you're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to punch him right in the fucking nose. Like, because I know for myself, like, if I was, like, at a fucking 7-Eleven and some fucking, like, 18-year-old punched me in the face, oh,
You're about to fuck somebody
oh,
up.
old man strength is coming up. Like, I'm not going to hit you when you're down. But I'm definitely gonna, if you fuck up and expose too much of your nuts, I'm kicking the shit out of your nuts as hard as
wisdom.
possible.
It's not that there's like strength, but there's wisdom. You know exactly where to hit at what point, and with
I think, and also
the amount of precision.
There's I don't want to say a moral code, but when you're a dude fighting, like if you get in a bar fight, not to say somebody isn't gonna hit you with a bottle or like do some wild shit. There are a lot of people that are willing to push it to the limit. But typically, you're two dudes that are getting into a fight at a bar. They're looking for a fight. They want to engage and test. An old dude does not want to test and engage. He wants to go home without getting hurt. Getting hurt as least as possible. Doesn't want to go to the ground. Doesn't even want to bump their back into the bar. They're gonna fucking do whatever they have to do to stop this as fast as possible. Like, yeah, like quickly. Like, pop! Well, I'll hit you with this bar stool, motherfucker.
Right. Their fight or flight is a little bit more in tune.
Oh yeah, like if I see two young dudes get in a fight, I'm more afraid that one of them's gonna clip one with the punch, and then they're gonna hit the ground, and that's really how they're gonna get hurt. With a dude, if I see an old dude at a bar start to go for like any type of weapon, I'm like, yo, watch out, he's gonna hit that dude in the head with the fucking bar stool. Too many times I've seen like bar fights where somebody isn't expecting it. I saw one the other day. Some lady was in line, and she was fucking with some dude. I don't know if she was doing it on purpose, if she was an asshole, just like crazy person, or the dude was a crazy person, but she kept hitting him in the back of the legs with the shopping cart. He was in line in front of her. This is fucked up. I shouldn't laugh. This dude turns around and grabs his whole shopping cart and throws it at the lady.
What?
Yes, he picks up the shopping cart and throws it at her.
I mean, yeah, some idiot was like, I'd be polite the first one.
I tip her shit over, but I'm not gonna.
Excuse me, my ankles are still right there, lady. And if she did it again, then it's on.
Oh yeah. Like I've only been hit in my ankle like once or twice, and it was my kid, and I turned around, and there's unbridled rage that comes because it hurts really fucking bad to get hit in the Achilles, and you turn around and you look at your kid like that. Like I've looked at my kid like, oh, I can't believe you just did that. But the only time I've ever looked at my kid like, you are dumb as fuck, is when she hit me in the back of the ankles. I was like, the fuck are you doing? Like the one thing you don't do with the cart. Cart privileges revoked.
Right.
And then it gets even better because like I had never like hit her with one, and then I think we were at a Target or something. And she stopped short, and I hit her in the back of the ankles.
Now you gotta taste your own medicine,
and she reached out for it, and my first thought was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and the second thought was like, "Finally, you got with the fucking pain."
Yeah. Now you know it's like
Oh,
that is called revenge, and it was sweet.
Oh, I'm glad I've never gotten hit with one of those ones inside like a Home Depot. That'll take your foot clean off. Dude, fuck Home Depots. I fucking hate. Some dudes are into like these Home Depot Lowe's store trips. I have never seen anything worse than a fucking. I hate that motherfucking place.
I love it for the garden.
Yeah, well, I don't care about that.
Stuff.
It's like I go into that motherfucker, and there are dudes that are legitimately going in there the same way I would go into a music store. Like I don't understand
and they're
it.
just like,
yeah, like look at this. And did you see this pressure treated 2x10? Like fucking the fuck out of here.
I'm more excited because I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna make my house new.
No, I get it. Like, if you're going in there with the project in mind, but like, I don't think this is like a normal person, but there are people that are going into these hardware stores and looking at shit the same way that anybody, like, you go to the art store and you like, yo, this new watercolor fucking like set. I really want this. I like this palette. Or like, oh shit, like if I go in there, I'm like, oh, you see these new Micron pens? I got a 007 on this bitch.
We both know somebody that's like that.
But yeah,
Adam.
but I don't understand it. I've never like, and I've been about to build something. I'm like, that's interesting. Like, can I leave this place? This is fucking the worst. This is like, I cannot get into it. Even if it's like, even when I was redoing a house, I was like, all right, can we choose these colors? I want to get the fuck out of here. There's nothing exciting. Is there anything I can skateboard on? Or are there any video games in this bitch? No?
Right.
Fuck this place.
This is like, usually I hate shopping with Adam because he has his own mindset. I have my own mindset. We butt heads a lot when it comes to like grocery shopping or like shopping in general. But we do agree on Lowe's because like I'll let him go off and look at tools and do whatever he does, and he'll let me sit there in the garden and like the garden center and peruse, maybe pick a few plants or whatever, and he will never bother me, and it's great. It's like the perfect like shopping date is Lowe's. But anywhere else like sucks. Like Martin's is horrible because everything's expensive, and well, Walmart's Walmart, so yeah.
Dude, I all I know is when I've tortured people with a fucking Guitar Center trip. A Guitar Center trip to me is like, look at all this fun stuff. Look, I want it all. And I know how it is for people that aren't like even like remotely musical to be like, what's the difference between those 5 things that you picked up? Because they all have the same. They all look the same. We're like, no, this one's got a C-neck profile. Like, yeah.
Like, all right.
Oh,
cool.
dude. Oh, yeah, dude.
Cool.
Oh, look, the tremolo on this has got a different action. This one, it's got a long. Yeah, dude. Even Lily, who's super, super into like music, the same way I am. After like fucking half, I could be in that store. I've been in like a Guitar Center legitimately, not now because they're not as good as they used to be. You used to be able to go in there and test out everything.
Yeah.
Oh, me and my friends, it'd be like a Saturday, like we're gonna be here for 2 hours.
Yeah,
like,
just playing with everything.
because you hit every section of the store, especially if you're into music production and you want you have the tertiary knowledge of music to be able to play, to understand scales, and to be able to just pick up an instrument no matter what it is and start to be able to craft a song. For a lot of people, when you go into like a music store, you do want to hit like, oh, I want to look at this new like nylon string acoustic. I want to come over here and look at this 5-string bass, especially stringed instruments. I don't know like if everything's the same way, but for me and my friends, it was like an instrument. No matter, once you learn the note system, it became just another way to interact with melody and stuff. So like if I have a piano, and like even if this piano is like fucked up, even if you like you're playing a guitar that has like fucking 5 strings instead of like, there's these weird things that you'll pick up. Like I've wrote songs on like guitars that I picked up where like the 8 string was broken. I was like, oh, I'll come up with a different like chord structure.
You can manipulate it.
So it becomes fun in that way. Like I don't know if everybody that plays music, I'm sure there's a lot of people that like start playing one instrument and don't really play any of the other ones. But for me, it'd be like I'll play a clarinet. Now, I may not be able to, like, if you were to give me sheet music for any instrument, I'm fucked. I'll be like,
that's the same with me. Like I play by sound, I play by ear. I can read music in playing the violin because I played violin for so long in middle school and high school, but anything else I can't read it. Like if you give it to me outside of that like context, I have no idea what the sounds are, but I can play by ear. So if I hear a song, I can replicate it after.
Oh yeah, tries. Like I'll do a shitty version of it. So we did have some comments. And, my favorite one is Hustler had insertion Also, Girls Who Suck Cock and Take It Up the Ass, Volume 24. Apparently, that's a good porno. Oh fuck. Also, they peeped us into the term switch. We know what switches is.
Yeah, we know what that is.
But,
We're not amateurs here. God, what do you take us for?
So yeah, you know what we're gonna talk about now?
What? What's that?
You know what's coming up this weekend?
Yeah, well, I know for me. Oh yeah, it's this weekend. I'm like, yeah.
You're a weekend
I'm-
ahead.
I'm, I'm like in outer space right now. Yes, it is Mother's Day on Sunday, so you guys better be buying your mom's flowers and giving her a call, making her breakfast.
Take
in
that
bed.
bitch to brunch. It's time, motherfuckers.
Treat your
Put,
mom.
put on
well.
your collared shirts. I know
Yeah.
all you motherfuckers just got in a fight at Apple Blossom last weekend. That, put some magic eraser, clean off that blood stain from arguing about where you got your fucking shoes from at
Yeah.
Ross or at Target.
Yeah.
Hey, so Mother's Day,
Yes.
the much more important than Father's Day. Father's Day, no one gives a shit about.
Oh, no. It will come. I have lots of Father's Day suggestions too. But today, I'm going to talk about horror movies.
Horror movies.
Horror movies that revolve around motherhood. Not necessarily Mother's Day, but motherhood that I'd like to recommend. One of them being Mother. That's a great movie. Right now, you can catch that on Hulu. I
Mother.
believe. Very, very, very good movie. I love it. It's kind of like this woman has a baby and this man kind of tears her down and like is very gaslighting. He's an asshole. He's very like self-centered, and throughout this whole movie she has this baby. She loves this baby, but he makes it into this production until the very end when the baby gets torn apart and it breaks her heart and he takes that heart. So it's basically like a devil type story, but revolves around motherhood. Very good movie. I've talked about this next one a couple of times. The Eyes of My Mother. It is one of the most disturbing movies that I'd ever seen.
Is that one with them two giants?
It's the one where she is with her mom. She's a little girl that lives in this isolated farm, and this man comes to the farm to visit them, and he ends up murdering her mother, not right in front of her, but right there in the house. And the father comes home and sees this guy, and he ends up like imprisoning him in their barn. And she grows up with this pet that she has now, which was a serial killer that murdered her mother. So it is a very, very good movie. It's disturbing. It is black and white, so it's kind of like film noir. I would equate that to. So fantastic film. A movie that me and George checked out, I think it was last year around the same time. Beau is Not Afraid. That is definitely a good Mother's Day movie. You can actually watch that. Watch that with your mom. It'll be
Fuck
great.
that.
Yeah.
Your mom is terrible. That mama is the worst mama ever.
Yeah. But it is a good.
That movie is all right. So this movie, they said it was a horror movie. There ain't nothing horror about that movie. You know what that movie makes you feel?
Anxiety.
Pure anxiety.
Yeah.
And it's not anxiety like this is like it's not like what was that movie that fucking I think it had Jimmy Stewart in it. It was a Hitchcock movie. Vertigo maybe? Where it was like super like it was all about like the anxiety the character had it and all this other stuff. This one is like you're anxious because the whole movie like I don't know about everybody. Sometimes you watch especially slasher horror movies. You're like, you dumb motherfucker, why would you go down that aisle?
Right.
Like or they trip over something stupid and you get like that feeling. But this whole movie, you almost want to reach through the motherfucking screen and grab this dude and be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
Stop this shit. Get the fuck up. Say no.
Yeah.
Just say no. Just tell this bitch no.
Yeah.
Like everybody in that movie just treats that motherfucker like shit,
like,
and
but
he
it-
never says "fuck you."
But it kind of like goes back to his relationship
Yeah.
with his mom, And it's like he's literally falling over himself to get to his mom.
Yeah.
And the whole story progresses. It's really fantastic. I've watched it a few times.
Spoiler alert, when that lady drinks that paint, I nearly died laughing. Like, I was like, good. Fucking, who dies from fucking paint, loser? Yeah. It's like one of those deaths. All right, so like, what was those things? The Darwin Awards. I'm not saying we ever should rejoice at somebody's death, even if they do something stupid. Every now and again, the callousness of just being alive, where people, certain stuff, like we all like know, like, don't do that, you'll die. And somebody does it, and you're like, told you. Like, it's just that innate feeling like, come on, dog, what you thought was going to happen? Like, let's say, for instance, like, I'm not saying, like, when I see people climbing rocks, I'm ever like, you should fall. It's never like that. But when somebody does some of that free climbing, they say they died, there's a little chuckle inside of me like, I told you. What'd you think? Climbing without ropes is going to end well? What the fuck are you thought? Like, and the people that do it, they those motherfuckers got some, like, I think I forgot the name of the movie, but there's a guy named Alex Honnold who like climbs shit, like they're like, and he'll climb all the way up stuff, like free climb everything, right? And I think he free climbed El Capitan, a bunch of places that never been like free climb. And they said one of them, this motherfucker started climbing up and he got all excited. And he fucking forgot his chalk bag. So, like, halfway up, somebody's climbing up with, like, beside him with ropes, and he asked to borrow their chalk so he could keep climbing. But they said with a lot of those guys, the reason they can do it is the same reason they die. They have to fucking just, like, be like, I'm going to keep going. Like, that thought of, like, I'm not stopping. The same way as if, like, you're, like, let's say you're, like, running, like, 2 miles, and you get to that last fucking quarter mile, and you're dying. But you know if you, like, mentally just tell yourself to do it, you'll finish. It's going to suck. You're still going to have to embrace that sucky shit. I think that they're just like that to the nth degree. Like, they have the ultimate version of that, because there's a lot of stuff like them, MMA, like, boxing, like, certain sports where it's, like, this output of physicality that has to happen for you to be able to do it. On top of that, the inherent danger of what you're doing becomes more and more apparent as you're doing it longer, and having the diminishing return based on the fact that your endurance, no matter how much cardio you have, is going to slowly reduce, which is going to reduce the quality of your output. Those at such a high level, it's like problem solving with deadly consequences. If you fuck up an MMA fight or a boxing match in the 12th round, you could get hurt so bad that, like, you might not be the same after you're done. And I mean, those are you could die if you're falling off a rocket from like even like 40 feet and you don't have a rope, you're gonna die. So
you might not.
You might not, but like, I mean, if you're climbing where Alex Honnold or any of these elite people are climbing 200 feet up, you're bouncing off that rock and becoming like a mush bag. So there's a lot of anything where there's an inherent danger of you becoming hurt a lot more, like skiing, like those alpine racing skiers or anything like that. That stuff becomes like, are you going to be able to perform because of the your body's natural fight or flight reflex? You're gonna have to like turn it off almost, and some people seem to be really, really good at that. I know for myself, when I went out to one time I fought in the cage, before I went out there, I was like really loose, and I was like sparring with people backstage, just going through like, different things that I wanted to try. I hit that hallway, I started sweating through my motherfucking shirt. It was just like, fuck, like what the fuck? And you go out there, once you get out there, it's like, it's not really like, there's a lot of people looking at you, and that's kind of odd because you're used to going to a gym and you just fucking like, hey, how you doing? And you start like, all right, you want to go for a round? And you'll do that. A lot more casual. When you go out there and they're like, they have people that are like saying what round it is and all this other stuff, the people introducing you, that shit is the nerve-wracking part. Everything up until when you know that you have to go out there. And I don't know if this is everybody, that some people just they're primed for it. They just want to go out. For me, and I know there's other people that are like this, you start questioning why you're there. Like, oh, why did I say yes? like these things that like I mean, there's people like there's a guy named George St. Pierre that said before he went out, there's a lot of times where he said he would throw up and start crying. Just because he's like going out to like, and for like people in the UFC, it's like probably immensely more nerve wracking. You're in front of like 30,000 people, and if you're not doing good, you're getting punched a bunch or kicked a bunch. So like getting beaten up in front of people is inherently worse than like just being in a gym with a couple of your friends and like getting hit too hard in the side of the head. It sucks, but I don't know. Maybe there is some ease to rock climbing because it's not like a bunch of people sitting at the bottom of the rocks like, hey, do it, bro. Oh, dude. What if you were like, it became such a big sport the way you got like halfway up the mountain and there were people sitting in like gondola baskets being like, you can do it.
That would be more motivation, I think.
Yeah, but then you're going to get people that are going to bet on it. So people are going to start throwing like fucking Gatorade bottles at you as you're climbing up. Competitive fucking free climbing.
How did we spin off from like
I don't know because I talk too much.
I'm so lost. I'm like, why are we talking
all right,
about
so because fucking all right, so Mother's Day, you were talking about mother and then
I don't even know.
Here's two interesting Mother's Day or mother-based horror movies. Of course, the original, not the original, but the movie that made slashers a bigger genre, Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
The first one, like a lot of people, like people associate everything with the hockey mask, which didn't come until the third movie.
Yeah.
The first two are much different than the rest of those movies, especially the first one. You don't know who the killer is. Turns out Jason's weird ass plastic faced mama.
Yeah, that's definitely a motherhood type of movie.
And then She Devil, Roseanne Barr's classic.
But that's not really a horror movie.
It's not a horror movie, but there is definitely like she's supposed to be the devil.
Yeah,
it's like
that's true.
But
that's true.
There's
tons of like mother like type
Antichrist.
Movies. So I think a really good one that you wouldn't think, Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, dude, that one's good as shit.
For sure.
That movie, I remember like hearing about it when you see still frames for that movie, because a lot of times when I was a kid, wasn't allowed to watch horror movies as much as I would like to. So a lot of my knowledge of horror movies came from like either other people talking about them, the actual VHS covers, or Fangoria, where they would show still frames. And I remember seeing still frames from Rosemary Baby and being like, this ain't scary. And then when I saw that shit as an adult, I was like, this shit's real. I bet you they do this shit in New York City. They be making devil babies.
Yep.
But that one and The Omen, out of all the two, like both of those movies, in terms of the 1970s, those ones are scary on a different level. Like only the first Omen. The other ones are kind of like wild. But that first one, you don't even see a lot of blood. I remember watching that one on like TBS or something. And when the dude gets his head cut off with a pane of glass, it's not as jarring, but it's still scary just because it's like that little motherfucker comes out and be smiling. Like, and in that movie, like, the dad wanted to kill baby, mom didn't. Then he kills the mom. And the dad gets fucking off, and he's off to another fucking family.
Yep. There's a lot of good like mother type movies out there. Like, think in terms of like indie films. Like, there's this fantastic German film called Good Night, Mommy.
What's that one about?
It's basically this mother, like, she just had plastic surgery on her face, and her twin sons believe that she is an alien or devil or something, and it's not their mother. It's an imposter. So the movie progresses to the point where these boys end up like tying her up and asking her questions and torturing her and then burning her because they believe that it's not their mom, that it's an imposter. It is like one of those. It's like one of those movies where like, if it was me, I'd fuck those kids up. Like,
oh yeah, fuck them kids.
These kids are like, they're a little out there, but it's really good. And they do have an American version of it. I think I gotta find out if it's called Goodnight Mommy.
What was that movie? we watched. It's got Kate Blanchett in it. Her kid is a killer, and she starts cloning women.
Oh, it's a Hulu movie actually.
Yeah, like so like from what I remember, I don't know the name of the movie, but like this kid, she figures out that her son is actually like a fucking killer.
Yeah, she's
And-
like a scientist, and she's working on cloning anyway.
And he's got like they have a house that's out in almost the middle of the desert, and apparently like he likes killing people, so she just keeps cloning like girls, the same girl I guess for him to kill.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm looking up the name of it.
mothers, a mother's love.
Yep. That's dedication right there.
Yeah, I'm just telling you right now. I don't care if my progeny listen. You start offing people, don't be including me, because I'll be looking over my shoulder. Because if you gonna kill some rando, you might kill me in my sleep. I'm locking my motherfucking door, yo. I'm gonna have an attack dog with your scent all over. Yo, if he comes to this door, eat his face.
I'm like gonna find it. I hate that. Like that is like
when you
it's
can't
the
come with
worst
a movie.
thing about ADHD when someone's like, "Remember that?" I'm like, "I don't remember it. I gotta Google it. I can't let it go. I have to know what it was called."
Oh, man.
Someone knows. Someone knows out there. They're gonna be like, "What's that movie?"
Yeah, the movie that I
Exactly.
saw.
Oh, it was good. Anyway, it's a great movie. It's on Hulu. Just just browse. If you see like, I can tell you the cover of the movie is like this woman like emerging from like this gelatinous kind of goo.
Gross.
Yeah, that's the cover of the because like
Gelatinous goo.
they're born out of this stuff. The clones.
Amniotic.
Yeah.
Ew.
The
Sticky.
gel. It's a black gel though. It's like a weird tar they're born from.
Gross.
Yes, lots of like mom movies. out there.
Mama.
Yeah, Babadook was a good one.
Never saw that one, man.
Really? Yeah, she's.
I got this weird rule, man, and I might be wrong for this, but at a certain point, when we were kids, it was R. If it was a horror movie, that's a motherfucking R. There's gonna be two things in it: blood and titties, and a bunch of fucks and shits, right? Then they hit this point where they figured out that if they made movies PG-13, that they would get a bigger viewership. So they started making horror movies that were PG-13. And I don't know which one I saw. It was one of the bunch of the ones that came out in between 2000 and 2005 where they were PG-13. I was just like, you know what would have made this movie better? Some fucks and some shits and some blood and some titties.
That's not necessarily true because I can tell you right now, one of my favorite horror movies is actually
What is it?
PG-13. Steven Spielberg movie. I'm going to give you that like clue.
It's spilled beans.
Poltergeist.
Poltergeist, but that's 19.
Poltergeist.
But that's
is
1980.
PG-13.
But that's 1980s PG-13. 1980s PG-13 was because all of our horror movies were so hard that they were like, we got to put stuff in it. Also, there was stuff that like, because our generation, like, there was more stuff. Like, they would say like for instance, Transformers movie. I remember it was like a huge deal. This movie, I don't know if it was G or PG, but I remember at one point Ultra Magnus is about to get shot, and he's like, "God damn it!" And I remember being like, and that was like just in a cartoon when we were kids. So I think, like for instance, Rambo, Commando, Terminator. These all had toys. These were all rated
Yeah.
R movies with lots of blood, and
That's
we played
true.
with these toys.
That's true.
They do not have a Brightburn figure that kids are playing with. They
No,
don't have
they
fucking.
definitely don't.
We had Predator toys. We had Alien toys. We had like these movies that we shouldn't have seen. We know we all watched them because our dad would be like, "Yeah, let you watch this one. You watch Predator with us." You were like,
That is so true. Like I think about that now. Like there are definitely.
"Oh,
I mean, you can get horror toys, but they're at like specialty shops.
Oh, yeah, like-
they're more collectibles. They're not like they used to be, where you buy them, to play with them.
it's weird." Like, 'cause I sometimes I think I lucked out because my kid knows that horror movies aren't real because. The downside of Netflix being like a thing that you just let kids watch is like I remember one time because Child's Play looks like a kids movie. Like Lily watched that shit probably when she was 5, and she's like, "That's Chucky. That's funny," because she didn't take it serious. She was like me when I saw Child's Play when I was a kid. it was a little bit scary, but it was more funny because I'd have been like, I'm burning that motherfucker up. Like, he's a toy. I wish my buddy would get the fuck up. I'll whip his ass right in the fuck now. Like, after that movie came out, I'd look at animals and be like, or like fucking toys and be like, I'll fuck you up. Let that G.I. Joe get up. I'll stomp right on the fucking on your head. I don't care if you got voodoo running for you. Ooh, shit, I bought the photo. I ain't taking that shit on me. You get that dagger out. Yeah, Brad Dourif starts talking through my fucking toys. I don't give a flying fuck. I don't care if grandma just bought that bitch. It's going in the garbage can. How you going to breathe in that motherfucking closed trash bag? You going to suffocate just like you breathe in regular air. But that one wasn't scary. But for instance, like, I remember one time, it was at your house. We were watching it, and fucking he pops up where his face just pops up out of nowhere. I watched my kid just get up and be like, nope.
Yeah, we ain't watching this though.
You got me with one jump scare. So some people just don't do the jump scares. They'll do like horror, like the actual like synopsis, like the scary part. But as soon as there's a jump scare, I love jump scares.
I'm sure you do. Like, I'm always like, oh goddamn. I'm like, oh, I'm the oh goddamn person when it comes to horror movies.
You got jump scared in the Winchester.
Oh yeah, that was such a stupid movie too. Like, I'm like, this movie is not accurate. First of all, but
it had 8 million jump scares and it got all of them.
Yeah, it definitely got me. But it's like it's sound. I'm sensitive to sound. I'm sensitive. I'm a sensitive soul. You can't just be going boo.
So any picks this week for new horror movies that have just come out?
Honestly, I just watched this movie that my dad recommended. He's part of like this like horror podcast he listens to, and the lady like recommends a bunch of new stuff. So there's this movie that is on Prime. It's called The Seasoning House. Trigger warning: rape. Lots of rape, and I'm not talking about run-of-the-mill rape. I'm talking about violent, almost snuff-like rape. So the movie is really, really hard to watch sometimes, but it is a fantastic film, and you definitely should check it out. That's on Prime. It should be under the Prime free horror movies, and it's called The Seasoning House. So definitely check that out. It's a really, really good film. We'll be watching Abigail tonight. It just hit homes today, so if you have Prime or any of the subscription type streamers where you can order the film, check it out. I haven't watched it. My dad watched it. He said it was good. It wasn't as great as he thought it was going to be, but it was good. He said it's rewatchable. So that's good news. I like it when a horror movie can be watched multiple times. I'm that kind of person. I will definitely, especially if it's a really good film, I will watch it over and over again.
Freddy vs. Jason, watch it 72 times.
I've watched Midsummer at least 30 times now. I love that. That's like one of my favorite movies. It's not for everybody. It's weird.
You know, I think Midsummer is a very, very good movie, right? But I think there's a disproportionate amount of women that love that movie.
Yes, it's like good for her.
It's like, I wish I could burn my boyfriend in the side of a goddamn bear suit. Fuck, I'd be on mushrooms and just watch him burn.
Yeah, that smile at the end, Florence, like when she just like that grin. That is that satisfied like.
You know what?
Fuck you guys.
I didn't think about it till right now. But I think I got to think for Russian chicks. You know why?
Why?
Because Scarlett Johansson was the Black Widow, right?
Yeah.
And I used to be like, Scarlett Johansson's, right?
Uh-huh.
You know who plays her sister?
Who?
Florence Pugh. And you know what I'd be like? Florence Pugh, though.
She does have gorgeous eyes. Pretty unique eyes. But that movie is like, love it.
Yeah. She good in them movies.
Mm-hmm. And of course, I like Hereditary too. I love Ari Aster. I love his movies. They're so good. They're so fucking good.
I'm about to nerd out on some shit right now.
Oh.
All right, so you might not know this, but the new they have a new series called X-Men '97, right? I remember when we were younger, they had X-Men the animated series. It was
Yeah.
sort of like everybody, knew about it. That's how a lot of people found out about comic books.
I
Primarily.
watched it.
All right, so X-Men '97 is a continuance of that series. They have gone ham as fuck, right? So this series, all right, spoiler alert, if you don't know about this shit, I'm gonna ruin it for you. Gambit dies. This motherfucker
No!
fighting some big, like, imagine like a Sentinel. Remember the Sentinels? The
Yeah.
robots that want to kill. Imagine one of those like Godzilla. That they have a nation called Genosha, where all of it's like a mutant country, and this big Sentinel comes in like Godzilla and kills like millions of people, right? And at the very end, stabs motherfucking Gambit, and he charges the whole thing up and blows it up, right? They capture a bunch of people, and in the last episode, guess what they did?
What?
Magneto's bitch ass did what he shouldn't have done. He did it in the comic books. He ripped out motherfucking Wolverine's goddamn adamantium skeleton right through his skin. They going hard as fuck in this series. People are dying. People are getting their skeletons ripped out. They going hard as shit. I appreciate every bit of what y'all have done. They even got a them they on it. They called some that dude Morph is a they now, which was like people got real mad about it. Like there's two things that happened. So there's a group. Remember how they had the group on there, the Friends of Humanity? They were sort of like the dickhead bigots, right?
Yeah.
And they're still on the show, right?
Yeah.
And people were like, they invade, and this happened in the comic books a couple of times, where like a friends group, when like Professor X or somebody's given a symposium about mutant people and their acceptance, somebody shoots somebody important or does something wild.
Yeah.
So during this, these guys, I think Magneto's giving a speech at the UN, and all these bad guys from the Friends of Humanity come in, and people show their colors real quick. People were like, they're trying to make fun of the people from January 6th. And I'm like, you have never read a comic book in your life. You think that there weren't people that really hated mutants like in that comic book? You think that wasn't a thing?
Yeah.
Like, that shit was hilarious to me because I was like, I thought they were going to have like, because they were talking about how it's like they're going super woke. I thought they were going to have like fucking Wolverine making out with fucking like Gambit or some shit. Like, no, it's the same exact thing that you would think. It's like, the paradigm that people don't understand about that show is it's really, to me, when I was growing up, I mean, we were much less removed from it than kids now, but it was almost like a character study of two different ideologies for the same goal, a la Malcolm X versus Martin Luther King. And what would get a oppressed group more freedom and more acceptance, a militant line where you're fighting to get acceptance, or one where you're trying to show these people that you're a human being, or you are a living being that should be respected just like you respect them.
Yeah.
So I understood it when I was 11, so I don't understand how fucking grown ass men would fucking flip out over a cartoon show.
Because they're dumb. Like,
welcome to America.
yeah.
Yeah.
Woo.
Also, all right, so there's gonna be a some type of pride drag queen style shit in Front Royal, and I know there's gonna be a lot of people that are secretly worried about if they secretly wondering about how dick tastes, and are really mad about this shit right now.
Oh yeah. I'm honestly like, because I will be participating. I'm just worried that there's gonna be trouble. Like,
I don't think there'll be trouble.
It's supposed to be a good thing, and
I don't think there'll be trouble for two reasons.
Celebrate what they want to celebrate.
In Front Royal, I won't say that there aren't some backwards thinking people that do live in this area, because there's all kinds of different backgrounds in this area. There's a lot of people that are like super tolerant and super don't care what anybody does as long as it doesn't fuck up, like, or you don't cost me any money. Most people are like that. They don't give a flying fuck. What I will say is, I don't think the police around here want any problems whatsoever. So if somebody goes down there and starts trying to fuck with drag queens, two things are going to happen. Drag queens are still dudes, and they can still fuck you up. So I'm just saying, nothing would be worse than if you showed up to a fucking drag queen event and you started talking shit and then got the shit beat out of you by somebody that was dressed as a woman, because you're an asshole that probably deserves it. And two, I don't think the police, I know when they had the during COVID, they had the George Floyd walk or the vigil or whatever. At one point during that, I saw one guy start yelling, and I saw a police officer. I don't know her name. She made a beeline for this guy.
Yeah.
Wasn't a big deal. Wasn't screaming at him. Didn't provoke him. But was like, "Yo, no."
Yeah.
Because
I remember that too. Like we were walking and everybody stopped because somebody up ahead was yelling, and I guess that was that guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think this time, like I saw it. I think it was when Trump was running against Biden. Yeah, and they they have the Republican center, and then they had the Democrat center, and the Democrat center wasn't a permanent residence. It was just, I think it's where On Q is now, but it was big and bright.
Yeah,
And I saw. I saw a guy come down the one of the side roads towards, it might have been over by where Royal Spice is. And he walked, and he got about like 20 feet from it, and he audibly was like, "No!" Turned around and walked back. It was like the first time he saw it. I was like, man, imagine being that captured by either side to where you're mad at the other one just because you see that they have a building. I was like, man, that is like, that's what both sides wants. They want you to fight so you don't like worry about the money they're taking from us.
Divide and conquer, right?
Yeah, fuck that. Don't tax me. Fucking put, and if you are going to tax us, spend that shit appropriately. Kids should have telescopes in schools.
Yeah.
Seriously. All right. This weekend.
Yes.
The 18th?
Yes, the 18th.
Where can people see you?
You can go to Instagram. My normal profile is Alola on Loan, but I have been reaching out and trying to get you guys to, share my page. Follow. That is odd all underscore on Instagram. I will be posting more funny, hilarious stuff tomorrow, like little skulls with tiny eyeballs in them. It's so hilarious.
Little balls.
They're so funny. I want to keep them all, but honestly, I'd rather have money. So come to my booth and buy my stuff.
Come to that
please.
booth.
It's my emporium of oddities that you'll love. You'll appreciate.
And I'll be there.
Mm-hmm.
Drawing stick figures.
Moonwalking around my tent.
I'll be moonwalking with a bullhorn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So go over, check it out.
Yep.
Peep. Go over. Chris has got comedy coming up. Go to Chris K Comedy on the Instagram, on that Facebook, all them shits. Check that out. He just did a set, I think, last Wednesday. I don't know if it was at the filling station or El Rey. He said it was a good show. He's going to be doing a show at Pavement coming up pretty soon. I think there's going to be 4 comedians, so that should be good. Go out, check that out. Get yourself some burrito tacos. Be a champion. Also, go over to Catamount Lounge. They have all kinds of stuff. If you work in the food industry, on Sunday nights, they're going to have trivia, as well as it is service industry night. So if you are a server, you work in the food industry, go over there on Sunday nights. I think there's some type of discount. They're doing big things for y'all. They're all honky tonk night. I believe the Sneaky Snakes are playing, I think it's every other Wednesday. Or not Wednesday,
no,
Thursday.
It's Thursday.
Honky tonk nights.
The first Thursday of every month.
Honky tonk nights. And of course, Mondays, the illustrious combo. If you do stand-up comedy, go over to On Q Black and White. They always do an open mic night. You can see all kinds of people. Chris will be up there sometimes. All kinds of nice people. And of course, the Monday night open mic night, a little bit more musical flavor. You'll have people from different Curvy Tooth, Sneaky Snakes, various people playing guitar. One night, you might even see me do an interpretive dance in my assless chaps. All right. At Helltown Radio on all the socials. Subscribe, listen. Shouts out to everybody that was in the nice little chat, giving us a little bit of a heads up.
We need to hire a reader.
So we do have some moderators on there. Nice. So peep that. Lunar Sprunk is the moderator now. So if she doesn't like what you said, she has moderator powers, so she can strike comments. Also, yes. Always, as always, grab. This week, I'm going to say, you're going to grab around. You're not going to go gable, which is fingers over thumb. You're actually going to go wrist to wrist grab, and you're going to dip your elbow in. And what you're going to do, you're going to suplex your week, but you're going to roll over. You're going to pick up, you're going to tuck your elbow to your own side, and then you're going to smash that week into the ground. Hopefully you hit its shoulders and neck, so maybe it's like, I think my shoulder is out of socket, and then you can pin it. It's your week. It's not my week. It's not Lita's week. Could be Lita's week.
It is my week.
It's her week.
I'm choosing to butt fuck my week, so
She's going to butt fuck her week.
I'm gonna peg it.
And peg it, and she's not even gonna be nice. It's not gonna be lubed. She's
gonna
gonna
be
throw.
rough.
She's gonna throw sand in it every thrust. Cut you up good.
I'm gonna scream while I do it too, so it's like weird.
All right, she said, I might be spilling the beans, but she said she's gonna take a coat hanger and put that shit on the stove for like half an hour, and then she gonna put it up
right
your
there.
ass real slow, like. Bye.
Bye.
I love you. Sometimes I want to just wear a t-shirt, Porky Pig it around your living room. Because that's how I do. Dicks out, cheeks out, suplex your week.
Bye.